Hello and welcome to another episode of Wildness and Wellbeing. I'm Tim Jones, also known as Adventure Yeti, and today I'm with my friend Anna Fuller, who is an outdoor enthusiast, freelance designer and business owner. Hey Anna, how's it going?
Hi, Tim. Hi, it's fine. Yeah, it's good.
Awesome stuff.
You can tell I'm not used to this environment.
No, it's cool. So, when did your passion for the outdoors first begin?
So my passion for the outdoors started when I was, as long as I can imagine. I always loved anything to do with nature, anything to do with animals. So as soon as I could get out of an academic area, I'd just be outside straight away. So it was my real escapism. I just feel present when I'm outdoors. I don't know how to describe it. It's like being your true self, or other things don't creep in, or if they do, you can like handle them in a way.
Yeah.
It's like, everything just processes easier outdoors.
Yeah.
Um,
Have there been any kind of particular points in your life where you feel the outdoors has really helped you?
I think it's just ran alongside my life. So I was diagnosed with dyslexia at the age of 5. And just from my story and my point of view, I feel like that's a young age to be highlighted as different. So I would say I felt highlighted as different at 5, and then going through school, obviously that was just highlighted every day, like you're a bit different, or you're not achieving, you're not meeting your goals, what someone else has set for you. So that's what really, I guess, then drew me to the outdoors, because I would finish school and just be like, oh my god, I want to play and get out and just do something else, or it was art or drawing, or do what I'm good at and what I feel safe in. I think that's where my love for it came. Like I've already touched, that escapism and just feeling like you didn't have a worry there.
Yeah.
I think that was it. Maybe the day it was like, just get through your day, so then you can just do what you enjoy, or no judgment.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's a little bit like, I guess, when you're outdoors, you just feel like all your troubles are just far away.
Yeah. Like I always, on a hike, I'm like, love to see the view and remind myself to look back.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't know like what's behind. Like you want a 360 view and just have a pause.
Yeah.
But it is true. It's a timeout.
Yeah. A beautiful time
A
out.
beautiful timeout that is always different. Never the same.
I think that's another really interesting thing is no matter what you do, if you go and do the same hike every day, it can look completely different. There can be snow one day, it can be rain, it can be foggy, there can be a cloud inversion. It can look so different all the time.
Yeah. And a lot of my hikes I've done, I go back and do them in reverse.
That's nice.
Yeah. Because I think especially the peaks, local ones, obviously some you can't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like peaks, you can do them anyway. So
Yeah.
normally even you'll do it with a group, and then I'll go back on my own and I'll just think, you know what, I'm going to do it in reverse to get a different perspective.
That's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Do you feel that the outdoors has helped you when it comes to your mental health?
Yeah, hugely. I think for me it has always been a release or a break from, I don't know, I just go, even now, like hiking, and when sometimes I think you can feel quite claustrophobic indoors, or I think you just get outside and it's like I just go, oh, I can breathe. It might sound so strange, but it's like a space, a mental space that I can't describe for me.
So what inspired you to start your own business?
So I kind of fell into being a freelance designer. I was at the time doing small knitwear for TU and Sainsbury's, and it was a job with no growth.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I struggle with. Maybe it's the put in the box, the no growth. I'm too adventurous, I think, is the thing, and I like to push myself. And it was a lovely small knitwear company, but just knowing you'd be sat there, whether it was...
You've got to be passionate, haven't you, a little bit? And you've got to have that. I always find from when I was freelance before, and I probably, well, I say probably, I assume will be again, that it's just a level of freedom as well.
Yeah, I think that's what I've always seen and grown up with, because mum and dad have had their own business since I've been born. So anything that, they had to attend for me, it was just no problem. I mean, I've seen them go through so much business pain because it's not a 9 to 5. Like, it's hard, but I would rather work twice as hard and have that freedom than just be sat at a desk.
It's like double the work, double the reward.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's trauma now. We've talked about being at school, just sat at a desk, ticking off jobs. But for me, what I do mainly is either graphics or sewing, or helping at shows and events, and it's just connecting with people and a lot of movement. And I think that's what just pushes me to continue growing in my own space and down my own avenue or paths, whatever that will be, because this has been a year of growth. And for everyone who's supported me to be freelance and have a life, because we all need money in that, I'm excited to see where it goes in the next few years, because I think it's really given me that brain space to find out again what I enjoy.
Yeah.
Because I think with COVID, it gave us that relaxed time. And then I personally missed work. And I think I was one of them people who overworked in a way, as like, I was a person, I come in, I do my job as good as I can, but was missing a bit like connections. So now it's nice to have connections with people and do a good job, and that every day is different. And I think that's what I crave.
It sounds to me a lot like you're very creative as well. And I think when you go back to school, it sounds to me a little bit like you just weren't, they didn't help you maybe in the areas where you were most, the creative areas that you...
That's it. I think, like, if I have children or they go to school, I don't think they teach enough about jobs and what is out there to do. It's kind of like, if you're rubbish at maths, English, anything academic, science, like, you are going to fail at life. That's basically how it made me feel. And then not true, because then you go to look at like colleges and you just suddenly drop, like I went and did art and design, and you just dropped all them things in like 1 year.
Yeah.
And go and do that and then have a career, and you just think like, wow, like why?
Do you think it made you more resilient and more almost determined to prove, I'd say maybe prove people wrong?
I'd say it gave me a thicker skin in a way, or it's made me, I have a wall up at first, like I can be quite reserved before I go into something. Like
Yeah.
I'll scope it out before, because it's like, I think I was just, sometimes when you're like, what's the catch?
Yeah.
Like I never felt comfortable in the classroom. So I was walking in like, oh, what's the challenge going to be today? Like there was always going to be one every day.
Yeah.
So it was like, what is it going to be today? But I would say, yeah, it's definitely made me more resilient. Yeah.
Yeah, because I just find it quite relatable, because I might have touched on it with you before. Like I really struggled at school. Like I was I scraped through my GCSEs, and that was from mum and dad literally sitting me down every evening when all the other kids were playing, and literally revising every day for the whole year running up to GCSEs.
Yeah.
I remember I was in one of the classes with, I was taken out of one of the sets, and they gave me a free kind of period, which I don't think was very beneficial for me, because I was put with all the naughty kids, and with my kind of track record at school, which at secondary school it wasn't so bad, but primary school I weren't the best behaved child.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the best thing to do for me, but I remember the teacher in there asking me one day, what do you want to do? And I was like, when you leave school. And I was like, well, I want to go to university and do photography. And I remember her reaction was something like a bit shocked, and then she said, oh, but darling, you probably won't be able to go to university. And it really troubled me.
Yeah.
And I think that something really struck me then as, actually, no, I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to university. And I did. I did go to university in the end.
Did you do photography?
I did photography.
Yeah.
And I passed. I didn't scrape. I properly. I got a decent university grade, and I think that might have made me more resilient in that way. And what I'm trying to say is I can kind of relate in the same way as when you're really struggling and people, I wouldn't say it's their own fault for doing it. Maybe don't have the faith in you. Something.
Or their like brain doesn't think that way. Like a lot of people go like I've talked about my job to strangers before, and they're like, when I went to uni and I did fashion design, and they were like, oh, you pick such a soft subject. It was like, yeah, thanks. But they're all just opinions at the end of the day. And me and my mum talk about these things all the time, and she's had so many no's in her life, and now she's just like, watch me.
Yeah.
She just goes, watch me. Because I think too, like there is beauty in the failure, because normally you never fail. Something else will come out of it. Just start whatever it is. You'll find a path and you'll find something else. Like I never thought I'd be eventing as much as I am this year, like doing chats with Christmas Market and all them sort of things. I thought I'd be doing a lot more graphics, and I haven't. I've been doing a lot more textiles. So it's funny how life does have a path. And there's a certain, I've got to the point where you have control, but you just have to go with it.
I think that's the thing as well. Like when I was beer blogging, it's like you just kind of, your creative side, you just start doing something. And I remember kind of looking at the stats of my beer blog and thinking, oh, there's been quite a few people on this month. Like I've had 10,000 hits and like stuff like that. And then suddenly it's like, oh, we've got 40,000 hits. And then it's like, oh, I've got 120,000 hits this month. And it's almost like suddenly like I was in a position where I was just wanting the free beer at the time. I was into the craft beer scene and whatnot. Not quite at the heat peak of my troubles by that point.
The start.
Yeah, it was probably the start. But then suddenly, like, the largest supermarket in the UK turns around and goes, "Oh, we'll pay you to drink this beer and write about it."
Oh my God.
And then suddenly you're like,
There are jobs though like that.
Yeah.
If you said to school, I'm gonna go, well, it's like people who probably say a wine taster, or
yeah,
you like, yeah, I'm gonna leave here and be a beer blogger. Like
Yeah.
at school, they'd have been like, excuse me.
yeah. What's
I
that?
want to know now what schools are saying when kids go, I want to be a YouTuber.
I know, and that is a really
Like,
that's
that
a really
is,
big thing
yeah.
now. Like I remember people saying it.
Like teachers must have it hard now.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that's the beauty of this day and age, and it's really funny. It's always bittersweet with technology and the digital age. There's some aspects that I hate about it, but the one thing I love about it is I feel like you can actually be whatever you want to be.
Oh, yeah, because people don't, like, now, like, obviously I still have dyslexia, but with autocorrect and all of that, no one knows.
No.
Because I'm not sat there writing and it's a bit like, oh, that's misspelt a bit.
Yeah.
Or you voice record.
It's funny as well, the English language.
It's the worst.
It changes all the time. You know, and you can grammars, you know, it's always debatable now.
A bit like at school, I wasn't allowed to learn a language.
Yeah,
because I wasn't at a level of
a shame.
English. But then you think if I enjoyed a language so much, I might have been really good at that, and I would have happily immigrated and lived in a different country.
Yeah.
Like, you never know.
It's really funny, actually, because if I turn back the clock for me, like, I wish I didn't. I've already mentioned it. I wasn't the best behaved kid, but we used to run our French teacher ragged and Spanish teacher as well.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of times I was outside that classroom against the wall.
No.
But you know, and I remember, like, they used to take, what did they used to do? They used to take our books. If we'd been naughty, they used to take our workbooks and then write us on the detention list. But we all used to learn together and pass the books back. So, but yeah, like I was saying, I really wish I'd actually paid more attention in my language lessons, because I wish, and I've got friends, and they can speak. One of my friends, she can speak 3 or 4 languages,
amazing,
and I'm like, oh my, like, I wish I could just speak another language. And going over to Fontainebleau when we were doing some bouldering earlier this year, I was just constantly writing down what I was asking, because I was like, I really want to learn this language.
And I think you connect with different languages. Like, I think I didn't even get the chance, and I just think that's a bit unfair. But hey,
Never say never, though.
that's it. But I know I am grounded to the UK for a few years.
Yeah.
Just because of family, but
Yeah.
you never know. Still time.
Totally.
But we need free time. But no, I know what you mean. It's funny what you were saying about the naughty kids, because at college we had like a TA who was training to be a teacher, and she got dyslexia students, actually just us, and said, can I interview you all just because I'm going to do my dissertation on dyslexia and da-da-da. And there was a boy who reacted maybe a bit like you and was like, to avoid doing work, I would just do anything. Like anything I could to get out of the classroom. And I just went to him, I said, you was my saving grace. And he was like, he was still cocky then at college, and he looked at me like, what? I was like, you helped me a lot. And he was like, I helped you. And I was like, yeah, because the teacher wasn't bothered about what I was doing. because you was drawing all the attention. And he was like, I said, yeah. So normally they'd get my book and it'd get to marking and it would feel like, oh, we've done the bare minimum here, Anna.
Yeah.
But they didn't notice because he was having all the attention, or she, but at that time it was he. But the woman who was writing the dissertation, the TA, trainee teacher, was like, that is really clever. And she went, I wouldn't think about that. She went, I would think, oh, I've got a child playing up. I need to sort this out. That person's being well behaved.
Yeah.
But not knowing,
Yeah.
secretly.
You're being neglected.
Not neglected because I was happy not to be questioned.
Yeah.
But it was like, as a teacher, obviously she hadn't started teaching. So at that point, it's like, I want to help every child.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going back. Well, we're probably talking about 7 more years now. She's probably well into a teaching career, and he's
probably
thinking
ahead of something.
As long as you're being good, that's all right. You.
Yeah.
Like having 30 kids. She's probably thinking totally different, but she was shocked because I think she did think everyone with a learning disability was going to play up.
That's funny, isn't it?
But I think that is normally how it goes.
Yeah.
Normally is how it goes.
I think I wouldn't say I was a naughty. It's really hard to say. I wouldn't class myself as a naughty kid. I was definitely a really naughty kid at primary school. I'd say I was probably the second worst kid in a class of 30. I'd say I was sent home. I was in the headmasters. There was only
primary.
one. Yeah, in primary. And I don't quite know where that was, but I was special needs at that point. And I think when I got to secondary, that it got overlooked a lot more, and I didn't. I
think they expect it more at secondary.
Yeah. At secondary, I didn't really. I wasn't in the headmaster's office as much. But I was from time to time. But I wasn't so much. I think I might have learnt how to get away with things in some respects. But
yeah, that's it.
But I think when I look back, I think why was I like that? Was it maybe the fact that I did struggle at school as to whether I was naughty or not? But yeah, who knows?
Like I've said to you, we're not all the same, and they're trying to make everyone be all the same, and it's not. It's a lot of rooms in one end, like energy and all that in one room as well. It's
beautiful though that we're all different, and
yeah, that's what they don't. Well, what they didn't. I don't know what they do now. I felt they didn't do enough.
So what key tools have helped you when it comes to your mental health?
Definitely, like we've touched the outdoors. It's always been an escapism. And then my key tools to myself are just start. Whatever it is, just start. What can seem so daunting, but I will always break things down and start with what I feel is achievable. And I think that's it, like a hike, no matter what it is, you look at the top and you think, God, I can't get up there.
Yeah.
But you just start and you do. So I think the battle sometimes it's them first steps.
Yeah.
To get going.
Totally. We've actually had some beautiful hikes together, haven't we? The one I really enjoyed was Blencathra.
I knew you was going to say that.
That was
one of the best. Good weather.
Yeah.
That always helps.
I
enjoy it also.
Yeah, you'd done Helvellyn Var Striding Edge the day before, hadn't you?
Yeah.
And then
we car camped.
Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember being in the pub, and we just had something to eat, hadn't we? And it was like 10:30, and it was like, yeah, guys, we need to work out where we're actually car camping
lay
tonight.
Our heads tonight, yeah.
And then you and Sarah had gone to bed, hadn't you? And then another car pulled up, and Yeah, we all know where it's going. And then,
I mean, I slept through it all as
I
well. I'm a
know.
great sleeper.
but yeah, a man and a woman got out of the car and proceeded
to have a good time.
um,
At least they stayed near their cars.
yeah.
At least they didn't ask if you wanted to join in.
No, I didn't.
I'm sure you didn't like start your engine just to let them know, like.
Well, isn't it you're meant to like put the windows? I'm making out like I know way too much about it. You're meant to put the windows up and down a couple of times.
What?
Apparently, this is something I heard.
Wait, what? Is this to like say
signal that you're alright for someone to come and watch or something like that?
Oh, to be involved.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what I'll have to Google this after to check because I know someone's going to fact
Google
check
search,
this.
like,
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, no one
I don't
Google
think.
this.
Did you
please.
say windows?
Yeah, windows.
Wouldn't
apparently
it be
up
your
and down.
lights? Because what if it's dark? You don't see your window.
I don't know.
Like,
I feel
it's
I keep
pitch
looking
black.
at my phone like I'm gonna actually Google
Google
this,
it.
but I actually want to Google this.
Is this an interest to you, Tim?
Well, no, like I'm just curious.
The only thing that I think is like the windows up and down thing. If it's dark, you're not going to see someone's window.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think it would be like, surely like flash, and not in that way.
Well, it can be in either way, really, can't it? But
Yeah. Well, it depends. If it's to be interested, yeah. If it's not to be interested, then you're giving the wrong flashing signs.
yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I'm gonna check that later. Well, no, I won't. Maybe I
Yeah.
will.
Maybe you will.
Maybe I will.
Raise your eyebrows as
Yeah,
you say
yeah.
that. Maybe I will. Wink, wink.
What's your next adventure?
It's still, everything's been slowed down because excitedly I'm going through a mortgage process.
Ooh,
I know.
adulting.
Big time adulting. So my adventures are starting in 2025.
Nice.
What's fine? I'm excited. If it is this house I get, it'll be a renovation process. So
That's an adventure in itself.
that is it. Yeah. She says, twitching.
Yeah.
But it'll be. I'm ready to have my own space again.
Yeah, it is important.
Mm-hmm.
Really important. But yeah, anyway, Anna, how can people find you?
Mainly just Instagram. So it's Anna Megan Fuller.
Cool.
I think there's no numbers or anything.
You
I
got any
always don't
websites
myself.
for your?
I've not actually. I realised 3 clients is kind of like my limit at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's something I have been thinking about going towards.
Nice.
But yeah, because I've got 3 clients, that is keeping me very, very busy.
Awesome. Thank you for coming on.
No, thank you for having me.